Everyone keeps asking where is the best place to live near Sacramento, and usually you hear some of the same names like Folsom, Elk Grove, and maybe even Rockland. But what if we told you that one of the best suburbs with some of the best schools, parks, shopping, new homes, and community feels is one that people keep overlooking? In today's video, we're diving deep into the real Roseville, the suburb that could be Sacramento's biggest hidden gem. And by the end of the video, you might just be asking yourself, why isn't everyone talking about this place? So let's get into it.
All right, so let's kick things off with what really sets Roseville apart, because it's not just another Sacramento suburb. This place has some unique DNA. First off, Roseville is big. Over 150,000 people live here. That makes it the largest city in Placer County and one of the biggest suburbs in the entire Sacramento metro. But here's the kicker, it doesn't feel that big. Roseville does an amazing job keeping that community feel alive. You've got tree-lined neighborhoods, neighbors walking their dogs, family-owned businesses, and events downtown. But also every modern convenience you'd want in a big city. Now let's talk about diversity of housing, because this is something people overlook. Whether you're a first-time buyer looking for a starter home, a family looking for a 5-bedroom in a top-rated school district, or a retiree wanting a low-maintenance home near great medical facilities, Roseville has all of that. You've got everything from homes built in the 1950s with huge lots, no HOAs, and charm for days. And then there are brand new homes being built right now in West Roseville with smart tech, solar, and energy efficiency dialed in. You've also got gated golf course communities, 55 and up active adult neighborhoods, rural properties on the outer edges of town. It's like a choose your own adventure for housing. And that's not something you get in every suburb.
And speaking of adventures, let's talk about some of the amenities. This is where Roseville really shines. You're not having to drive into Sacramento for groceries, restaurants, or entertainment. You've got that all right here. The Westfield Galleria isn't just a mall, it's one of the best shopping centers in all of Northern California with high-end brands, great food, and it's surrounded by other shopping like the Fountains, Whole Foods, and REI across the street. Need a night out? You've got that here too. You've got breweries, wine bars, family restaurants, date night spots from old historic Roseville and Old Town Roseville to the newer developments out in West Roseville.
Want to get outdoors? You've got over 70 parks to choose from. The Roseville Aquatics Complex, golf courses, walking trails, and that doesn't even count what's right outside of town in places like Auburn or Granite Bay.
And here's something that people don't realize. Roseville has its own utility system. That means cheaper electricity rates compared to your neighbors like PG&E and SMUD, faster repair times, and more local control. You'll definitely hear locals talk about how much this is a real perk, especially if you're thinking for a long-term investment. Now let's not forget about location. You're about 25 minutes away from downtown Sacramento. Depending on traffic, you're also about 90 minutes away from Lake Tahoe and 2 hours away from Napa and San Francisco. You're surrounded by lakes, rivers, and trails in every which direction.
Oh, and families, listen up. Roseville is known for its great public schools. We'll break down specific neighborhoods later in the video, but just know that this is one of the most family-friendly suburbs in the entire metro. And not just because of the schools, but because of how intentionally built the city is. Wide roads, tons of parks, organized growth. This is a city with a plan, and it definitely shows.
But while we have your attention, if this is your first time on our channel, we are Lance and Lauren with the Living in Sacramento team, where our real estate team helps people buy, sell, and relocate to the Sacramento area by sharing exactly what it's like living here in the greater Sacramento metro. And trust us, there is no one bringing you videos quite like we do. So if you're thinking about making the move, feel free to reach out. All of our contact information is going to be in the description down below, and it's going to be pinned in the chat.
All right, so let's get into the real reasons why people love living in Roseville. Now, first I'm gonna share with you some of the pros, and then I'm definitely gonna share with you also some of the cons, because you need to know both sides of whether this might be the right place for you or not. So let's hop right into it. The first pro is definitely gonna be safety and cleanliness. So the city of Roseville does a really good job of keeping this city extremely clean. They have amazing parks that are always really well kept. You can see right now I'm at Harry Crab Park, and it always looks beautiful. It's always well maintained, well manicured. There's never trash on the ground, and it's just overall the entire city is really well kept. If there's ever any issues like vandalism or kids doing stupid pranks on park property, you know, every city deals with those things. The city of Roseville is really fast to get out there, clean it up, take care of it. And in the whole, the entire city is just really well kept. All right, let's talk a little bit about safety and why I think Roseville is extremely safe. Well, apart from me living here, I definitely feel safe here. But let's talk a little bit more about what makes Roseville safe. Roseville is ranked among one of the safest cities in the Sacramento metro. But also, the reason that it feels extremely safe is because Roseville has its own police department. And on top of having its own police department, which is always active and they're always out and about, you always see cruisers out. On top of that, they're also backed by Placer County Sheriff. So the nice thing is there's plenty of police presence and support. The other thing is, on top of that, the thing that I love about Roseville is they take safety and community very seriously. So for example, I have 2 teenage daughters that love to go to the mall. I always feel safe with them when they go there by themselves, because one thing that I know is that Roseville Police Department has undercover cops that are always working at that mall to keep it safe. So if anything ever did happen, I do have that peace of mind knowing that the police department, they are there, they are present, they're undercover, and they're doing everything they can to keep our mall and our overall area extremely safe. Now, on top of the police being around and being present and it feeling safe, the other thing I love is I just love how involved the Roseville Police Department is as well. Same thing with Placer County Sheriff. If you ever are in public and you see one and you say hello, they're always super friendly, super nice, always saying hello to the kiddos. They're just out and about giving that good community vibe and feel, which is something that I absolutely love. All right, now the next part that I'm going to talk about is definitely going to be the Parks and Rec here. Roseville is known for having amazing parks. Heck, I'm at one right now that's absolutely stunning. Usually on a weekend, this park is so happening. We've tried to come film here before, but there's so many people. We can't do it on a weekend because of just how crowded and crazy it gets. But it's nice that Roseville has these parks all across town and that people actually get out and enjoy them, giving you that sense of community. Now, on top of that, Roseville has over 70 parks built right into these communities. A lot of them are built around major housing developments. There's also housing developments that'll have parks that are going to be right directly in these neighborhoods, which is really cool. So if you want to live next to a park or within walking distance, you definitely can do that living in the city of Roseville. Now, on top of the parks being awesome, there's a lot of recreational activities that you can do in Roseville. So Roseville has 2 municipal golf courses. One is going to be Diamond Oaks. The other one is going to be Wood Creek. Now, these are going to be 2 18-hole golf courses. They're really well kept and maintained by the city of Roseville. On top of that, you've got trails that are going to connect from one side all the way to the other side, all the way out to where the new stuff is. So even though they're putting brand new homes out in West Roseville, they're still being really thoughtful to make sure that they include parks and that they're interconnecting all of these trails. So theoretically, you could get on a trail in East Roseville, go through Central Roseville, and make it all the way over to West Roseville if you really wanted to. The nice thing about these trails is a lot of them are paved and they're well maintained for bikes and runners. Now, on top of the trails, on top of the parks and the golf courses, we also have a lot of other things, like we have Golfland Sunsplash. During the summer, our kiddos love to go here, ride the slides. There's also a mini golf course there. They've also have the little racing cars. There's an arcade. There's also an arcade at the mall. There's so many fun things to do that you can get out and you can enjoy in this community without having to leave the actual city, which is one thing that I absolutely love. It's not like a suburb where you have to go to another suburb or you have to go into Sacramento. Everything you need is right here. All right, now the next pro is going to be the access to medical care in this area. Now, if you are someone who maybe you're like me, maybe you go to the doctor a little bit more than others, the nice thing about Roseville is that Roseville has 2 main hospitals here. There is a Kaiser Permanente hospital and there's also the Sutter Roseville Hospital. Now, on top of having the 2 big hospitals here, you also have access to doctor's offices all across the city. So there's going to be a ton of different Kaiser Permanente medical offices in East Roseville and Central Roseville. There's also going to be Sutter doctor's offices sprinkled all across Roseville as well. On top of that, we also have a lot of urgent care facilities directly in the area as well. So if you're someone who needs medical access, you can definitely get that right here in Roseville without ever having to leave the city or drive super far. All right, now moving along, our next pro is going to be access to jobs here. So there is a lot of easy access to jobs right here in Roseville. So we just talked about medical. You're obviously going to have a lot of medical jobs here with Kaiser Permanente and Sutter Roseville. There's also a few other big employees in the area, one being Adventist Healthcare. They have a huge campus over in East Roseville. And then on top of that, you also have HP, you have Bosch Industries here, which they're redoing that entire campus, and it's going to bring a lot of jobs to the area as well. Now down in Central Roseville, you're also going to have Union Pacific Railroad. This is going to be the main hub for Union Pacific in the area. There's going to be a big rail yard. It's also a big employer in the area as well. So if you're someone who's looking for a job, maybe you're looking to get into a different industry, or heck, maybe you're a nurse or a doctor who's relocating here, there's a lot of potential job opportunities directly in Roseville. So the nice thing is, if you move here and you live here, you don't have to travel far if you do have to commute into the office. All right, and then last but not least, there's plenty of more pros, and I could talk all day about all of the different pros in Roseville, but the last one that I want to hit on in today's video is going to be the weather and the lifestyle here. Now, I know a lot of times people talk about the weather of it being a con, but what I mean when I say weather is the overall seasons actually. The thing I love about Roseville is you have a lot of different seasons here. You've got full tree-lined streets in some of the more established neighborhoods that look absolutely stunning in the fall and spring. You've also got nice hot summers where you can go enjoy the lakes, or heck, a lot of people here have pools. And then in the winter months, it gets cold, but my favorite thing about the winter months is that it doesn't get crazy cold. So I'm someone who doesn't do well when it drops below 50 degrees. I feel like I'm freezing to death. I feel like I'm dying. I don't know how you guys do it in some of these other climates where it literally snows all the time and it's cold. I can't live in these temperatures like that. So the nice thing is that while our winters do get a little bit chilly, depending on who you are, 50 degrees for me, it's not crazy unbearable. You can put on a jacket, you can still go out, and you can still actually enjoy the outdoors, even in the winter months. We go for outdoor walks every single day, whether it's winter, summer, spring, or fall. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about here. All right, now the other part of that pro I said was lifestyle. So what do I mean when I talk about Roseville has a great lifestyle? My favorite thing about Roseville is just how centrally located it is and how there's so many different things to do here. So if you're someone who enjoys wine country, you're a quick 2-hour drive from there. If you're someone who likes to go up to Lake Tahoe, only about an hour and a half to get on the slopes. You can literally do day trips. You don't have to stay up there if you don't want to. And probably my other favorite thing are just the summers here. I love the barbecue pool lifestyle. I love hanging out outdoors by a pool. And I just love that you have all of these awesome amenities located right here in Roseville that you never have to leave. Okay, but let's not pretend like everything is picture perfect here. Every single city, every single area is going to have its faults. So let's talk a little bit about the cons and some of the cons that you might deal with living in Roseville. Now, some of these might be a big deal for you. Some of these might be a deal breaker, but overall, I do think it's important to be well informed. So we definitely want to make sure we cover these things. So the first con is going to be, for some people, the summer heat. Some people don't do well in extreme heat conditions. Now, it does get really hot. We'll have multiple days over 100 degrees, but the nice thing is that while it does get super hot, there's a lot of things you can do to cool off. A lot of houses here have pools. Some communities have clubhouses where there's a community pool that you can go to. We also have the rivers and the lakes located really close by, and then we've got Golfland Sunsplash. So while the summers do get hot here, you will have to run your air conditioning, so don't think that you're gonna be able to move here and not run your AC. We do actually need that to function during the summer. But the nice thing is that while it gets hot during the day, it'll get hot around 5 o'clock too, but it's not super hot in the morning. So if you're someone who wants to be active, wants to get outside, still go for a walk or a run, you just gotta adjust your lifestyle a little bit in the summer months. Maybe get up and do some of those things early or do them later on in the evening. All right, now moving along, the next con is going to be the traffic here, but specifically the traffic on 65 and 80. Now, 65, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it can be a nightmare if you are someone who lives over on that side and you have to use 65 to get to 80 to maybe get downtown. It can add a lot of time onto your commute because it bottlenecks. So a while back, they actually fixed this freeway going up towards Lincoln where the interchange is from 80 to 65, but they still haven't fixed it going the other way, going from 65 to 80. So it can bottleneck all the way back up towards Blue Oaks, and it can sit for a little bit. But the nice thing is that even though that traffic can be annoying, if you're someone who's ever lived in Southern California or the Bay Area or any major busy city, it's not that bad. I would say that even our traffic around the capital isn't as bad compared to some of these other cities. I used to live in Southern California. I used to listen to my mom complain all the time about how bad her commute was. And I can tell you that while traffic up here gets bad, and locals will tell you that it's absolutely horrible, it's the worst thing ever, but if you've ever experienced anything else, it's all perspective and it's really not that bad, but it is something to be aware about. All right, now the next con on our list for today, and it might not bother you, it might be one of the actual reasons that you want to live in Roseville, is going to be that it's suburban. It is not urban. So if you are someone who likes to go out late, enjoy the late nightlife, this is definitely most likely not going to be the place for you. A lot of things in town shut down around 10 o'clock. There's not a whole lot going on. There is a very small downtown bar scene in Old Roseville that you can go enjoy some later nights there. It's not crazy busy, although a lot of people will tell you that Roseville is getting busier with the growth that's happening here, which it is. But it's not as busy as like a downtown scene, and it's definitely going to be quieter than like a midtown Sacramento. All right, now last but definitely not least on our list of cons is going to be the affordability here. Now, while in Roseville, your money's going to go a little bit further than it might in some of the other suburbs, like a Folsom or Granite Bay or in El Dorado Hills, it is going to be a little bit on the pricier side. So the price point to get into Roseville, you can find some smaller, older homes that are going to be under $600,000, but the average home is climbing in Roseville with just the demand and how many people are moving here. So just keep in mind that it is getting a little bit pricier in this area. But the nice thing when it comes to home prices is that you definitely get a little bit more value here. You can find a newer home specifically out in West Roseville. You can also find an older home that's maybe been redone in East Roseville, or a really cute little cottage bungalow in Central Roseville. So you definitely have a lot of options. There's a lot of variety when it comes to the types of housing that you can find in Roseville. And definitely when you compare Roseville to some of the other local suburbs, your money is going to go a little bit further here. But just keep in mind that prices here are going up, and it is going to be a little bit pricier than what it was maybe a few years ago. Now that's going to be it for our pros and cons section. I could talk all day long about the Roseville pros and the Roseville cons. Now, if you want to learn more, or maybe you have a specific question on is it like this or is it like that, that phone number is going to be popping up. Definitely make sure you reach out to us. We would love to hop on a call and help you decide if maybe this is the right area for you, or maybe a different area might suit your needs better.
All right, so let's say you're actually considering making the move to Roseville, California. The next question that we're going to want to ask is, where in Roseville are you going to want to actually live? Now, the cool thing is this city has some range, so each area has its own price point, its own feel. There's some pros and some cons, and personality. And if you don't know what to look for, then you might miss the perfect fit for your lifestyle. So let's break it down, cover some of the quick hits neighborhood by neighborhood. Roseville is going to be comprised of 3 different zip codes, and each one of those zip codes is going to have its own vibe and its own feel. Now, first up is going to be East Roseville. Now, East Roseville is what I like to call the OG Roseville. Now, this section of East Roseville is going to have a little bit more of an established feel, especially as you get a little bit closer to Granite Bay and Folsom Lake. Now, picture this. You're going to have mature trees, you're going to have rolling hills, you're going to have wide streets, homes with characters, and a lot of times homes in East Roseville are not going to have any type of Melrose and HOA, which is a big deal for a lot of buyers. Now in East Roseville, you're gonna have neighborhoods like Johnson Ranch, Stone Ridge, and Olympus Points, and some of these neighborhoods are the most sought after neighborhoods in the entire Sacramento metro. Now some of these neighborhoods, specifically the ones closest to Sierra College Boulevard or closer to the Granite Bay side of East Roseville, are even going to have the opportunity to be slated for the Eureka Union School District and Granite Bay High School. So you're getting a little bit of the best of both worlds. You're getting City of Roseville, and you're also getting the Granite Bay School Districts. Now in East Roseville, there is going to be a ton of charm, a lot of walkability to parks and schools, and a much more relaxed, laid-back vibe. Parts of East Roseville are going to be a little bit closer to Granite Bay and Folsom Lake, and you're definitely going to feel that influence, definitely in the pride, the price, and the personality. Now, homes in this area of East Roseville will be a little bit more expensive than what we'll talk about a little bit later, but you will get a little bit more space, a little bit more style, and a little bit more of that community feel that you don't necessarily get in the other parts of Roseville. Now, if East Roseville is the OG, then West Roseville is the new kid at school. This is where you're gonna find rows and rows of brand new homes, master plan communities, and even places out in West Roseville that new construction is still currently happening right now as we speak. Now, we're talking about neighborhoods like Fittyment Farm, Solaire, West Park, Winding Creek, and even the brand new Amarusa Ranch. Now, some of the builders out in West Roseville are going to be builders like Meritage, Tri-Point, Richmond American, Woodside, JMC, DR Horton. All of these builders are putting up new construction homes with solar, smart tech, and energy efficiency completely dialed in. Now, if you're looking for that new home smell, lower maintenance, and modern floor plans, West Roseville is definitely going to be your spot. Now, the cool thing is West Roseville isn't done growing yet. We still have tons of room for lots of infrastructure, newer high schools like West Park behind me, and some of the city's most exciting developments happening in West Roseville just within this next year. Now, this area of Roseville is super family friendly. There's tons of parks, lots of walking trails. Everything has been thoughtfully and meticulously designed to incorporate parks and trails throughout this entire community out here in West Roseville. But one thing to keep in mind is a lot of these communities out here in West Roseville do have dreaded HOAs, which I know a lot of you guys aren't super huge fans of, and a lot of the new construction, especially those homes that were built west of Fittyment, are going to have that dreaded Melrose tax. So it's definitely something that you want to keep in mind, and keep in mind for your budget when you're calculating your monthly payment if you're thinking about moving out here to West Roseville. Now, the other thing that a lot of people don't realize about West Roseville is you also have some of the best active adult 55 and up communities out here in West Roseville, along with some amazing golf courses. So you're going to have Sun City Del Webb, you're going to have the club at West Park by Del Webb as well too. That's a little bit of a newer community, a little bit smaller, a little bit more intimate, and you're gonna have a couple of killer golf courses out here in Roseville. Wood Creek Oaks being one of the 2 municipal courses, as well as Timber Creek, which is gonna be located over there at Sun City. Now let's zoom out a little bit to Central Roseville, or Old Roseville, which is gonna be primarily in between Interstate 80 on the east side and about the Washington Boulevard street going north and south on the west side. Some of the neighborhoods are gonna feel a little bit newer, especially those that are gonna be near the Galleria Mall, near Highway 65, but then you're also going to have some cute cottage bungalow type homes, which is going to be near the older part of Roseville, down by Vernon Street, and where a lot of the shops and some of the charm that Old Roseville has. Now, the cool thing about this area of town is you're gonna have cute, charming bungalows. You're gonna have a lot of maturity and development through the streets. You're gonna have walkable streets. You're gonna have community events, farmers markets. You're gonna have a lot of really cool things that are gonna be down here in the older part of Old Roseville. Now, this older part of Roseville is going to be great for first-time home buyers. You're gonna have a little bit lower of an entry point. It's gonna be great for investors and those who wanna do Airbnbs, especially if you wanna be close to the hustle and bustle of the older town Roseville, with some of the bars, some of the community events, some of the things that they do throughout the year, like Wind Down Wednesdays, Friday Night Flicks. They've got a ton of different things to do in this town. Now, before we finish this section of the video off, I want to talk about a couple of my favorite neighborhoods, especially those that are located in Central Roseville. So the first one is going to be Highland Reserve. Now, Highland Reserve is going to be in that central section of Roseville. It's going to be just near the Top Golf, kind of in that vicinity of Central Roseville. And this neighborhood is going to check a ton of boxes for families. So you're close to the mall, you're close to Costco, you're close to Top Golf. You've got excellent proximity to Catherine Gates Elementary School, which is a highly rated elementary school in the area. You've got nice modern homes, you've got decent lot sizes, and you've got that well-maintained and strong community vibe. Now, the thing I love most about this neighborhood is you are super central. You're not too far east, you're not too far west. You can grab a burger at Eureka, you can head over to Top Golf and hit some balls, and you can be home in 5 minutes. Now, the nice thing about these houses is they're clean, they're timeless, they don't feel outdated, and they're only 15 to 20 years old. Now, some of my other favorite communities that are also sprinkled out throughout Roseville is you're gonna have Diamond Oaks. This is also going to be another neighborhood located in Central Roseville. It's going to be super close in proximity to the fountains. We used to live in Diamond Oaks back in 2017, and it was nice. You could walk to the fountains, you could go grab coffee at Pete's, you can run to Whole Foods if you needed to go grab some eggs or some milk, but super close in proximity. You're right there in the hustle and bustle, and especially if you don't want to deal with parking at the fountains. From some parts of that neighborhood, it's only about a half-a-mile walk to get to that neighborhood. So if you're thinking about something that you want walkability, this is a great option for that. The other reason why I really love the Diamond Oaks neighborhood is this is actually going to be next to the other golf course that's owned by the city of Roseville, which is going to be the Diamond Oaks Golf Club. So some of these homes in this neighborhood, even though the neighborhood's a little bit older, kind of built in that 70s to 80s range, some of these homes are actually going to back up to that Diamond Oaks Golf Club, similar to those homes over out in West Roseville and Wood Creek. Now, the last neighborhood I want to touch on for Roseville, especially if you're a golfer and you want a little bit more of that luxury guard-gated community type feel, is going to be out in West Roseville, called Morgan Creek. Now, Morgan Creek is going to be one of our luxury communities out here in Roseville. It's going to be a guard-gated community. It's going to be a part of the Morgan Creek Golf Club, which is one of the nicer golf clubs that we have in the entire area. And these homes are going to have a much more custom, grand, estate-like feel. So you're gonna have larger lots, you're gonna have a little bit more luxury finishes and features throughout the house as it relates to some of those amenities. So Morgan Creek is definitely another one of those neighborhoods that you're gonna wanna keep on your list. But everything from West Roseville all the way back out to East Roseville, there's gonna be tons of different neighborhoods that you're gonna wanna have on your radar. Now, the cool thing is that Lauren and I specifically live in Roseville, and we know Roseville like the back of our hand. So if you're thinking about Roseville as one of the top choices and you want a little help figuring out or narrowing in on some of the neighborhoods that could be the best fit for you, that phone number is going to be popping up. We are the ones that answer every phone call, email, and text message, and we absolutely love it when you guys reach out to us. So go ahead and give us a phone call, or better yet, book that one-on-one Zoom call. All right, so we've talked a lot about neighborhoods, schools, pros, cons, parks, price points, everything in between, but let's go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. Here's the truth. Roseville might be the most well-balanced suburb in the entire greater Sacramento metro. It definitely has big city infrastructure. It's got 2 major hospitals. It's got its own school district. It's got its own utility providers, especially for electricity as those get higher in the summertime with your electricity with PG&E or SMUD. It's got major employers, and it's got shopping and dining activities that rivals cities 3 times its size. But the cool thing is Roseville still has that small town community vibe. It's got tree-lined streets, it's got youth sports leagues, it's got block parties, and it's got people that wave when you drive by. It also has a little bit of something for everybody. You've got new construction out here in West Roseville. You've got brand new state-of-the-art high schools like West Park here behind me. You've got affordable starter homes. You've got million-dollar custom builds. You've also got active adult communities, and you have family-friendly neighborhoods. You pretty much have a little bit of everything throughout the entire town of Roseville. The best thing that I love about Roseville is it's not overhyped yet, and it's not overpriced yet either. Don't get us wrong. When you guys reach out to us, Folsom and Rockland do get a lot of hype and a lot of buzz. And both of those cities are still excellent cities. But the cool thing about Roseville is it still has a lot of inventory, it has a lot of opportunity and a lot of upside, and a ton of value. The city of Roseville is not overpriced yet. Now, the cool thing is if you're moving here to Roseville from out of state, you're gonna feel comfortable fairly quickly. The roads are wide, the neighborhoods are clean, the people are friendly, and everything just works. So maybe by now you're thinking Roseville sounds pretty amazing, but is it the right place for me? Let's break it down. Roseville is going to be perfect for the following different scenarios. So families, if you're raising kids and you want great schools, clean parks, safe neighborhoods, and room to grow, Roseville definitely delivers. You've got everything from excellent public rated schools to private school options, youth sports leagues, music and arts programs, and family events happening all year round. And with homes that have larger lots, wide streets, low crime, parents love the peace of mind they get here.
Retirees or empty nesters, Roseville has an underrated active adult scene. 55 and up communities like Sun City Roseville are top tier. You get single-story homes, community amenities, golf, walking clubs, pickleball, and close access to top-tier medical care at Sutter and Kaiser. Plus, the weather, flat terrain, and low property taxes compared to other parts of California make this a smart retirement destination.
Next up, you have remote workers and commuters. So if you work remotely or you do a hybrid commute into downtown Sacramento, Roseville is going to be the ideal place. It has a strong internet infrastructure with coffee shops with actual workspaces to work and enough peace and quiet to be productive at home. Need to drive in? Well, you're right off of Interstate 80 with easy access to downtown, the airport, and even the Bay Area when needed.
Buyers who want options. If you want to choose between brand new builds and older charmers, starter homes and dream homes, HOAs or no HOAs, Roseville is one of the few suburbs that gives you real variety. You're not locked into one style or one price point, and with new homes still being built, you've got inventory, which is rare right now.
All right, now let's flip it over to who Roseville might not be for. So if you want an urban, walkable lifestyle, if you're looking for that big city walkability, coffee shop on every corner, nightlife, bars, boutique shops, you might find Roseville a little bit too quiet. It's definitely more suburban than urban, and you're definitely going to need a car. Most errands will not be walkable, especially the newer parts of town.
If you're on a tight budget, Roseville isn't the most expensive suburb, but it's not the cheapest either. It's a better value than, say, parts of the Bay Area or coastal California. But if you're looking for the lowest price point possible, you might want to check out areas like Citrus Heights, Antelope, or parts of South Sacramento. We can help you compare those, but Roseville does come with a premium.
If you love the downtown life and want to be in the middle of all the action, being able to walk to bars, shows, events, or live in that loft style apartment, this definitely isn't going to scratch that itch. Now, Roseville does have restaurants and events, but it's quiet at night. It's the place you come home to, not the place you go to party in.
So if you're watching this thinking, yep, that's me, then let's talk. We can walk you through every part of the city, send you neighborhood videos, and help you narrow down where you'd feel most at home. If you're thinking about making a move to the Sacramento area, Roseville might just be the sweet spot you didn't know you needed. And the best part, you don't have to figure it all out alone. We help clients every single week, from exploring neighborhoods to negotiating offers, and we'd love to help you too. So schedule that call, hit that subscribe button, and let us know what you want to see next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.